real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. What's going on, Joey?
Nothing much, man. Just
nothing much.
Getting ready to do an awesome show right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a fantastic guest with us on here, and that's Shawn Camacho with the Save Your Equity team at United Brokers Group. How you doing, Shawn?
Shawn.
Amazing, gents. Got some sugar and some fire for you guys today. I'm excited.
Absolutely, man.
It's definitely an honor to be on this. I've watched the podcast a few times, and I love the value that you guys bring, you and Joey, Jeff and Joey. It's amazing, man. And I hope I can drop some golden nuggets today for your followers or other agents and entrepreneurs out there.
Absolutely. I have a feeling you will. Even from just the few minutes that we spoke before we got on.
Yeah,
here.
Exactly. We should have been recording all that.
Just don't talk about the pistachio shirt, all right?
Yeah.
I like the bright color, man. I like the bright color.
It's energy. Green is energy.
That's
green
right.
Is energy.
That's right.
Yard signs probably are green like that.
My sales signs and my logo, neon green. In today's crazy world, you gotta poke people. You gotta stop them.
Yeah.
You gotta stop them. You gotta catch their attention for like 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, without getting an assault, you gotta touch people. You gotta shake them a little bit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Shawn, why don't we start with you? Sharing with the audience how long you've been in real estate and kind of what compelled you to get into the industry?
Yeah. So I want to say 2003 is when I got my license. So I've been in the industry in and out for about 17 years. And at 2003, I was going to ASU, working a part-time job, and in my economics class, as I was a business major, I've always been good with math and finance and intrigued about finance. And my mom was an accountant. So I learned how to, count the peanuts and pinch pennies and save and document your expenses. I mean, by the time I was like 15, I had a checkbook and,
Wow.
Old school balance register, all that stuff. Every time I took $100 out, she made sure I documented it. So math, I just fell in love with math my whole life. And then in 2003, I was at ASU and I was in my economics class and the professor was talking about supply and demand and at the same time challenging us as students to think about what kind of careers that you'd want to go into that are tied to supply and demand because his teachings were, if you choose a career that has a good supply and demand, most likely you have high chances of being successful, or it'll be a good industry to go into. And as he was going through the lecture and stuff, I'm out here daydreaming, as a college kid, thinking about, oh man, I got to work tonight and I got to call that person or whatever. Oh man, I left the laundry going, daydreaming. I had an aha moment. And as he was talking about supply and demand, and I started going through different industries in my head, and I was like, okay, well, people always need cars. I was like, that's probably a good supply and demand. And then I asked myself, do I like cars? Would I want to do that? And I'm not too passionate about cars. I think they're great. I just don't have desire to sell cars at that time at the age of 23. And then I went through food, appliances. And then after appliances, I was like, everybody needs a place to live. And everybody loves the American dream, owning a home. And I'm like, that supply and demand's got to be unstoppable. That's got to be a great pie to be a part of. So that was my aha moment. And then did some research, talked to a couple different people who were influences in my life. My older brother just got his real estate license. He was buying houses for him and his family. And then at the part-time job, I was at a bank. I was a bill collector at the age of 23. Just imagine that. I was calling people, hey, you owe us $3,000. Let's work something out. So looking back, it was an amazing experience. I learned how to communicate with people. I learned how to negotiate to people. I learned how to create win-wins and listen to people's needs and stuff like that. So one of my best jobs ever. I know the stereotype's probably like, who would want to do that? But some of the skills I still use today, 17 years later, I would say some of those skills, people skills, personal skills, communication skills, help me excel and run my team and my business 17 years later. So the other gentleman, he was the vice president of the department, and he was your typical VP, 30 years in the game, and he saw something in me, and he would always take me on like little lunch breaks as he goes on a break, and I would just go talk to him, and I would just be a sponge and just listen and listen and listen. And a lot of the conversations went towards real estate, and he talked about how he owned like 6 or 7 properties, and he just kept telling me, you need to get into real estate, you need to buy a property, you need to get your real estate license, buy your first property. And that's what my older brother kind of told me too. And so I went and got my real estate license. I was going to ASU during the morning, working that job from like 11 to 3. And then I was doing the real estate classes. When I went 17 years ago, you would go from like 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. And then after I got my license, passed the test, fast forward, 6 months, I ran into a home builder, a vice president of a home builder, and he said, hey, I want you to work in our model home sales. You're a nice guy. You know how to talk to people, and you're sharp, and you know how important customer service is. And so my first 6 years of real estate, I worked in the model home sales complex, where I would help a family come in and help them design the house, change the 3rd-car garage to a bedroom, bathroom, all that stuff. And it was an amazing experience to help somebody's vision start from dirt and come to finish when their brand new house is done. And so I did that for 6 years. That takes us to about 2008, 2009, and that's when the economy kind of slowed down. The builder started slowing down. I probably went from selling like 6 houses a month to like 1. The builder had to go out of business. And at that point, I had a choice of a couple of things. I wanted to finish my degrees because I didn't finish at ASU. So a goal of mine was that I finished my bachelor's and my MBA. So it was perfect timing, kind of silver lining. It gave me the time to finish those degrees. And then at that time I said, this is my shot. If I'm going to go do real estate, this is my shot. And I went for it. And that was like 2010, 11. And so the last 9, 10 years I've been doing resale.
Got it.
Where I'm helping people, sell their home, buy their home, first-time homeowners, all that stuff.
So 17 years, you've seen a lot of ups and downs. Well, at least 2 ups and 2 downs. Yeah. And, that crash was that was my first experience of, some downs, and I actually was impacted as a homeowner myself, because at that time I owned a couple properties, but I also saw other people get impacted. And the good thing with the real estate industry and the economy, it always comes back. You have to learn from those experiences and make better decisions in the future and strengthen your position, so that if it happens again, it kind of just, rolls off your shoulders, and be more prepared and have more options. Yeah, for sure. So tell me about so you've got a lot of experience, obviously, over the last 17 years, and now you have a team that you've put together. I guess tell us a little bit about that. It's the Save Your Equity team, right? Correct.
And it's what I've seen in the real estate industry is it's a lot more attractive, I would say, to run a team, depending on your goals. Like my goal is I'm an entrepreneur and I love selling real estate. So some people don't want to be in the trenches or in the driver's seat like me, dealing with the consumer, dealing with homeowners. Some people, they just don't like it. They don't. I love it. I love helping people, and I love the interaction. I played sports my whole life, and when I'm working with a family or an investor and helping their dream come true, I get that like team camaraderie. I get some. It's not always monetary satisfaction. I get satisfaction of working with them and helping them get the ball across the goal line. There's some satisfaction there. So back to my team. Depending on where if you're an agent listening, where you're at in your journey, the best decision I made in 2015 that helped me leverage my time, you could say it's kind of a system, or help me go to a higher volume of families or homes I could sell. Because even if you're the most amazing agent, what I've realized is 40 homes to 50 homes a year is kind of the threshold if you're by yourself. So in 2015, 16, I hired a transaction coordinator. And my transaction coordinator helps me with all my contracts, my behind the scenes administration stuff. So instead of me spending 11 o'clock at night typing paperwork, it helped me leverage my time where I could just work and interact with the consumer. And it leveraged my time so I can meet more people. So back to the Save Your Equity, that was my first hire on my team. And then if you want to get to like 60 homes, 70 homes, 80, 90, 100, depending on what your goals are, like my goal is 100 families a year. I say 100 victories. I want to have 100 victories with families in the real estate industry. And I don't think I could do it without my transaction coordinator and then also with a buyer's agent. So if you're listening out there and you're a newer agent, or you're deciding what direction you want to go with your team, I would say a transaction coordinator would be the first best decision. And then second, a buyer's agent, because when you're selling real estate, you're usually listing a home, and then you're also helping that family buy a house. So you can do both, which I do most of it. I sit down at the kitchen table with the family and say, hey, what's the goal? Okay, we're going to sell this house. We're going to take that $100,000 and we're going to go buy our dream house and retire. So that's listing and buying. But as you get to 80 families or 80 homes, you only have so much time. So that buyer agent will help you free up that time so that you can be at more kitchen tables, helping more families while they're showing the houses. And that's where I'm at with my team right now. And that's the business model, system model that I think is going to help me get over that 100 homes a year.
Got it.
And Save Your Equity team, what it is it's a concept that it's not rocket science. When I'm helping a family, what I want to do is I want to help them save their equity on the home that they're selling, and I want to go help them buy a home, because let's say they save $10,000 on the home they're selling. I have scenarios and examples where they took that $10,000 and they paid a credit card off, or they paid a car off. By paying that car off, or that credit card, or that student loan, it actually, on this side, the house that they're buying, it took them to a whole nother level, because no longer do they have those monthly debts. So then the mortgage company is willing to give them a higher credit limit. And I've seen it where people have kind of leapfrogged like a $300,000 price bracket, and they were able to leapfrog to a $400,000 price bracket. Where if you study real estate, as you're driving down the street and you see those big mansions, what people forget, that's usually that person's like 10th house or 12th house. Mm-hmm. And they've rolled their wealth and equity into that 12th house. Now, some of them, they might have inherited it, or they might be the vice president of Walmart or something. But 80% of those people, they roll 12 houses of equity into that big mansion, or that big ranch. So with the Save Your Equity, when they sell their house with me, they're saving thousands, and I'm hoping that spreads the sugar so that they can maybe leapfrog house 3, 4, 5. So it speeds up that timeline, basically.
Got it.
I'm a big debt-free guy. I took Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University back in '09 and '10 when the market crashed. You know, I took that as an opportunity to educate myself as a consumer myself, but also as a business owner. And so I see on a daily basis, like car payments, student loans, and credit cards actually prevents people from getting that dream home. So that's what the Save Your Equity is. It's not some magical rocket science. I'm just spreading the sugar, basically paying it forward. You know, some people, I know there's a lot of real estate agents out there that they'll donate to like different charities, you know, whether it be a dog charity or a church charity or a nonprofit. This is just my way of paying it forward back to the people in my community and the families that I'm interacting on a daily basis. And I'm a big believer of abundance. And if you spread the sugar here, the sugar comes over here. It's a circle. It's a circle.
Yeah. So, well, and the you know, it just sounds good too. You know,
Save your equity, baby. It just sounds good.
It's got a good marketing appeal, right? I mean, branding, all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a humble guy, but I'll take credit for that tagline. You know, when I came up with the idea, I mean, there were so many names like, you know, protect your equity, you know, protect your nest egg. Believe me, there was a lot of ideas, but I dialed it into Save Your Equity. You know, that was back in 2014, 15, and the growth has been amazing. I'm a results guy. You know, talk is cheap. We've saved millions. So we're at millions saved with the different owners and families that we've saved. And, you know, yeah, I need to make a living, and I make a great living. And as a business owner, I'm blessed. At the end of the day, though, to be able to say I have maybe made an impact in my community from the millions I've saved, you know, the best currency is the impact you have on others. I'm sure you guys have heard that, you know.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, I love what I do, and I'm doing it my way. That's another advice to some people out there. Like, be you. I see so many real estate agents, and I see so many business owners. They're like putting on a show, or they're trying to be a certain way so that they hope it gets them business, or, you know, explodes their business. What I've learned is if you just be you and do it your way, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's 7 billion people in the world. You're going to attract the right people. And every once in a while, you're going to attract some people that you don't mesh. But for me being a math guy, the laws of average, you're going to attract more sugar than salt.
Sure. That's good stuff.
And the salt people, you know, you just throw them over your shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
Throw the salt.
That's right. So over the past few months, you know, as we've kind of seen craziness out there, what have you done anything differently? What have you done to stay busy or successful during that time?
Yeah. And I'm a big believer about mindset. Like we all have challenges, you know. Right now, you know, I have challenges. Jeff, you have challenges. Joe, you have challenges that might be in the back of your head. To me, it's all about mindset. Whether it be personal challenges, business challenges, or world challenges. I've learned it's how you react to it. You want to be considerate. You obviously you want to listen to care. You know, a lot of people listen to respond, or listen to react, and they don't listen to care. And so you do want to have a heartbeat and a little bit of compassionate towards the craziness that has gone in the last 3 months. But you have to have some faith and confidence that us as humans, we're going to come together. We're going to figure it out. I mean, we have creativity, imagination, we have resources, and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You know, and so what I've done as a real estate agent is I use the downtime to spend more time with my family. I'm a father. I have a 1-year-old son, and I have a 5-year-old daughter. And when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes, like, my schedule changes. Like, some days I work 14 hours, some days I work 7 hours. So I really reflected as a father. I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity to to connect with my children and my wife. And so I spent a lot of time at home. But it also reflect on where I need to improve and invest in me to be a better business owner, but also a better agent to the families and the owners that I interact with. And then third, what I did is what I'm a big believer in is you need to help other people win. You need to be the chain reaction. I think we live in a world where everybody's playing double dutch. If you remember the game in elementary, the double dutch jump rope, like everybody's going like this, but because everybody's either afraid or there's some procrastination there. What has helped me is I'm human, I'm afraid, and I'm a procrastinator. But what has helped me get out of my comfort zone is I just jump in the middle of that double dutch and I just lean forward. And I've learned that if you just lean forward, your creativity will provide solutions, resources, ideas. So during that downtime, I reached out to my families and friends and owners and said, hey, I know it's crazy out there, but I know a lot of people. I have resources. Please lean on me. But back to being the first one to jump in, I tried to be that example on a daily basis. I try to be at that example. I know people are scared and going through hard times, and you just have to believe and you have to have faith that we're going to figure it out as a country, as a world. When we come together, we can send a guy to the moon.
That's right.
I mean,
absolutely.
And I have a phrase that I tell myself on a daily basis that helps me, be considerate of the world stuff going on, and is it's a little catchphrase that just keeps my mindset right. It's we and us, not I or me. If you just say that to it's we and us, not I or me. It kind of shifts your thought process. And
yeah, at
the end of the day, I'm a big believer is if you go down, at least you go down giving or helping or serving. That was how I was raised. It's better to give, to receive. And it's simple, man. It's simple basics like that. It's everybody's looking for this like magical strategy. Just be you and keep it simple and treat people, the golden rule, whatever, treat people and be the example. Because most humans are follow the leaders. So if they're like, oh, if you're the first one that helps people overcome fear, then they'll overcome their fear.
Got it, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
But back to my business, 2020, I'm actually having my best year. Like, even though all the craziness is going on, 2016 was my best year, 17 best year, 18, 19, 2020 first quarter one is trending to be my first year or best year. So in the first quarter.
Man. So are you seeing a good mix of business? Are you seeing your personal business more listings or buyers right now, or?
Great question. And I'm recording here behind the scenes too. Great question. Because even though all this chaos is going on and unknowns, people losing jobs possibly with the virus and, people hesitant on the real estate market. Right now, the opportunity that I see in the market that I talked to my people when I was reaching out to them, asking about personal needs or do you have any real estate needs? Keep in mind, I'm a homeowner myself. I'm in my 6th house. So I've sold and bought houses through before the crash, during the crash. What I think the opportunity is right now is if somebody does want to leapfrog those houses, like I talked in the beginning of the podcast. Like me, I'm in my 6th house and it's a really nice house, but I had to go through those 5 other houses to get to this house. So the opportunity in the market right now, just from a homeowner perspective, and maybe agents can share this with their clients, interest rates are so low, it gives you a lot of buying power. And then I read a stat the other day, most homeowners have 60% equity in their home. 60%. So let's say their house is worth $400,000, they probably owe $200,000 on it. That's $200,000 that you could position your family to either pay stuff off. So now that you're debt free, So if one of the spouses loses their job, you're not stressed out. You can take that 200 grand and invest it if it creates, investments for you. So that's the opportunity I see in the market. And that's what people need to focus on is interest rates are so low. And if you own a property, you probably have 40, 50, 60% equity. And I've learned through study and listening to other people who have built wealth through real estate, your equity in your house is technically frozen. It's fake computer money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a tool. It's dead equity until you use it. Now, if you don't use it, that's your fault. You need to take ownership of that.
Yeah.
Depending on what your goals are. If you want to retire early, if you don't want to invest and you're just happy in that house, keep paying it down. Get debt free that way. But your equity is frozen until you use it to your advantage. So,
yeah, I think that some of the issues with what you were just mentioning there is just discipline, right? People who are numbers guys, like probably the three of us, where we actually look at the numbers. I mean, it makes sense. It makes complete sense. Hey, let's refinance the house, pull some equity out, and use it to invest in something since the rates are so low. So, no, I hear you, though.
Exactly. And what happened in 08, 09 is people were refinancing and they were buying that $60,000 jet ski boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And you as a consumer, you have to take ownership of your decisions and ownership and responsibility of how you use your equity. There's got to be some ownership there. And that's where I think the market is a little bit better now and consumers are a little bit better is, like I said, they're not refinancing to go buy that Malibu boat or, that Cadillac Escalade, and if you are, that's your prerogative. It's your equity. Do what you want to do. That's just the trends I see that I saw last time back then. And I'm not seeing those trends now, which is a good sign.
I remember seeing a lot of Hummers on the road.
Yeah, Hummers
are
huge.
Oh yeah, Hummers, and then gas went to $5, and everybody was like, "Oh, what do I do with the Hummer?"
Exactly.
Can't sell my Hummer.
There's an opportunity in the market, and if you're an agent, some people the business is slow right now. You got to think of ways to get your name out there. I see, back to mindset. I think we live in the best time ever, but the hardest time ever. So the best time ever is because of Facebook, social media, podcasts, resources like this, technology. When I got my license in 2003, unless your brother or your dad or your cousin or your uncle was buying a house from you, you had to buy a billboard to get your name out there.
That's right.
Now, you have all these tools, and just pick 2 or 3 tools. Like me, I jumped on the bandwagon with Facebook. I jumped on the bandwagon with Instagram. There's obviously a lot of shining objects out there. You just pick 2 or 3, and then just go all in on those 2 or 3. Just hit the nail over and over, or I have a thing, keep chopping wood and on those 2 or 3 items. So when I took the leap of faith to go into residential resale after the builder crash, the one tactic or golden nugget, I went in all in, and it's nothing rocket science. It's in the industry right now. But I did open houses for 2 years straight. 2 years straight. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And real estate or entrepreneurship, it's a game of momentum, and it's like a fire. You got to get that spark going. But once you get the spark going, then you just keep throwing gasoline on it. But I did open houses for 2 years straight because it was free.
Mm-hmm.
I know that any business you want to run successfully, you need to be shaking hands and talking to people. And all I really had to invest is my time.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's great, man. I know we talked yesterday, Shawn, about maybe having you actually in studio for a second one, because I know that with your degree, right, in MBA, you like to run your business as an actual business, which I think would be great for us to do even another segment on kind of how you've built that and how you how you're running real estate as an actual business. Because I do think a lot of agents need that. I think a lot of them get into the business thinking, well, I can make my own schedule and I can do this, and I can do that. But, they haven't had any kind of training, if you will, when it comes to accounting or anything to do with actual business practices, right?
100%. What I learned is, as an agent or as a business owner, you have to remember, you're not starting a business, you are a business. So listen to that. You're not starting a business, you are a business. And what I mean by that is you are the business. People are going to do business with you because of you. So first you have to work on you and become, the skills, the knowledge, the experience, the marketing. And then the second part of being a good real estate agent and a business owner, Jeff, like you said, you need to know the different, I guess you could say, categories or branches of what how to run a business, as if it was an assembly line. Think of back in the day when Henry Ford, that they had different departments. Think about the Coke bottle or any assembly line process. Think about Amazon right now. You have to think like that as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And you until you start thinking like that and running it like a business, you could be successful. It just depends on what your goals are. You might be able to sell, 5, 10, 15 houses a year, and that might be your goals. But if you really want to be an entrepreneur long-term and run this as a business long-term, you have to learn those categories.
Yeah, we're going to have you back for that.
Definitely.
Because I think we could do, fill an entire episode with the business part of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Awesome.
Now I like what you said, back to the kind of the opportunity in the marketplace. That price point, well, we all know, obviously, being in real estate, that price point 400 and below, 450 below 500. I mean, a lot of it's moving pretty fast. So I could see your point of if somebody is ready to move up, right, they're going to have a lot better chance selling that house quick at that lower price point. They're going to make the money, probably top dollar on that house. And then there's not as much competition on some of those bigger houses. So I totally,
Yeah. So the opportunity is you can win on both sides of the game right now, where most people, if they're an average homeowner or consumer, they jump to, well, I'm selling high and I'm buying high. That's the common myth.
Yeah.
Or limited thinking. But you have to look at the whole scenario. I think people have opportunity. My parents are 65. They're in their 60s. I think not just leapfrogging to their dream home, the equity people have right now, I think there's an opportunity where people could probably shave 5, 10, 15 years off their retirement if they play their cards right. If they play their cards right. Now, like you're saying, Jeff, not too many people know that. We're in the industry, and as an agent, that's why you need to do video and social media. You need to people need somebody in their corner to connect those dots and get them across the bridge or hand the ball off and get them across the goal line. That's where we have an opportunity as real estate agents, because most consumers have these ideas, but they don't know how to execute.
Yeah.
They don't know how to execute the game plan. And that's one thing that makes me successful is I'm a good listener. And, if somebody says, hey, Shawn, I'm 55, I want to retire in 5 years, I want to pay my house off, I'm listening to those goals, and then I'm the guy in the corner, and I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm like, okay, we're going to run the ball here, we're going to throw this pass, and then we're going to be across the goal line, and let's go win the Super Bowl, baby.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's real good,
good stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they're a very small percentage of agents who do what you do, and that's why you're going to be more successful than most. So
thank you, Joey, and I'm glad you brought that up. if agents could remember, they're not just a real estate agent. Like, yeah, that's their title, you know, realtor and realtor and real estate agent. You're not just a real estate agent. People need your help.
Yeah.
You know, people
Absolutely.
have a challenge in front of them, and your job is to be the problem solver. And if agents are listening out there, if you want to focus on another golden nugget, is learn how to solve problems and learn how to provide solutions. You know, that's you can do any job, any career, run any business if you solve a problem. If you help people get from point A to point B and make it shrink the time, save them money. It's that simple. It's not. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
So any other things you want to mention or make sure agents know about before we move to the next segment here?
If I can be a resource, you know, I'm passionate about helping other agents in the industry because people gave back to me. So I'm a big believer giving back to other people that are just starting, or even if they need to kind of revamp their business. I'm all about masterminding and spreading the sugar and helping other people, because I might learn something from you. I might learn you may teach me the thing that turns my dial, that explodes my business, vice versa. So they can reach out to me. You know, look me up on Facebook, Instagram. They can instant message me or call me. My cell phone is 602-740-8992. And I'll definitely try to pay it forward with value or knowledge somehow.
All right, man. No, I appreciate that.
Very generous.
Absolutely. Oh, before we go into the next segment, I need to give a big shout out to Security Title Agency and Fidelity National Home Warranty for sponsoring the show. And I think Greg was the one that got you on here. So.
Yeah, high five, Greg. Greg's a great guy, and it's a blast knowing him. And I'm glad he introduced me to you guys and gave me this opportunity. And they're doing some great things in the industry. I mean, the tools that they have available for agents. I mean, that's the other thing I wish I would have done faster is lean on your title company people, and they're in your corner to help you. You know, use those tools.
Absolutely. When we have you in the studio to cover the business piece of it, we'll have to invite Greg in there to meet us. So
give him a hard time.
I'm looking forward to it today. I figured he might be in there, and you know, I've seen you guys on your podcast, and but you make adjustments, and you know, this is kind of cool too. You know, the Zoom thing. I think sometimes it brings out the raw genuineness in a podcast. Maybe, you know, doing the Zoom thing. But
absolutely.
It's cool to be in the studio too. So I'll wait to hear from Greg and you guys on that.
All right, cool. Are you ready to get in the ring?
What's the ring?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh yeah!
All right, here we go. We're going to do some rapid fire questions.
Hold on, I got a jump rope. Hold on.
Double Dutch.
What do you think the reason is that many agents are not successful?
Ooh, good question. Let's see. They're chasing too many tools, too many strategies. They're not digging deep enough on one or two strategies, like I said in the podcast. Yeah. You know, they start doing open houses for 3 weeks and then they give up. Back to what I did is, you know, I'm human. I was putting up signs in 120 degrees, and I'm like, you know, I'm human. I want to be at home with my family in the pool. Yeah. But you have to have that discipline. So I would say I see too many agents, they start, but they don't finish.
Shiny object syndrome, right?
Yeah. How about the best advice anyone's ever given you?
Ooh. One of the phrases I use is spread the sugar. Another phrase is passion always wins. And I'm trying to, you know, I kind of came up with those myself, and I've learned them through sports and through life experiences. I'm trying to, and I've had so many people influence my life. I mean, from bosses to coaches.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Those are good.
Spread the sugar. Passion always wins. What I've learned as an agent and as an entrepreneur, and then the kind of the world we live in today is do it your way. I forget who told me that, but somebody said do it your way.
Burger King.
There you go.
No, Joey, that's have it your way.
Yeah, that's have it your way. Yeah. And we don't want to say that, because then you got people walking around with entitlement and
That's right.
me, you know. Burger King said I could have this house any way I want it. But do it your way. Like, I think too many people are trying to be a certain way because they think it's going to attract people. I think I shared that. But have the confidence and courage just to do it your way. Be you, be raw, be genuine, and stand up for something.
There you go.
Absolutely. How about a favorite mobile app?
Ooh. As a personal app, or
any of them.
or a real estate agent app?
Just any of them.
Real estate agent app, I use RPR.
That's a good
all
one.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the field showing houses, and clients are always asking us questions, and it's a really good app that has stats and about the neighborhood and HOA. So RPR. Personal, I would have to say YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
I know it's not this magical app.
Well, the funny thing is, you're probably the first one to say YouTube on our show. After 200 plus shows, you're the first one to say YouTube.
I love YouTube. I'm on it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, as a business owner, as an agent, you need to invest in yourself also. And some people read books, some people listen to audio. I'm a visual guy and I'm an audio guy. So I listen to YouTube and watch YouTube probably 4 hours a day.
Wow.
So you're that guy.
I'm that guy.
Wow. I was going to ask you your favorite book recommendation after that question, but
YouTube.
maybe I should ask your favorite YouTube channel. Or both.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people know him. Grant Cardone.
Mm-hmm.
Grant Cardone. Listen to him on YouTube. His book, The 10X Rule. His second book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. It's simple. It's a simple phrase, and the book is just reiterating what most of us know. Like I knew that from sports and stuff, but it just gives you that little tap that you need to get you back on track. Like, be obsessed or be average, and you have a choice. Whether you're baking a cake, whether you're going to the movies, like, it's a choice. You can go to the movies just average. You can bake that cake just average, or you can say, you know what, I'm going to make the best cake ever. And
Yeah.
Do you watch cake baking videos on YouTube?
No. But I got to confess, I do watch Nailed It with my 5-year-old daughter. If you haven't seen the show, it's called Nailed It. And they bring these 3 average, people on to the show. And these people think they're bakers because they bake in their own house. And they bring them on this show. And they give them like a project that they have to complete in 90 minutes. And they give them the example. And then the whole 90 minutes, they're like, the kitchen's on fire and they're throwing cupcake mix everywhere. And then at the end, it was supposed to be like a little ice skating figurine cake, and it looks like Godzilla, But I watch it with my 5-year-old daughter, and it's called Nailed It.
Good.
That's funny. That's funny. All right, one last question. Let's see.
I got this one.
This is beautiful.
You do?
What is that,
Yes.
velvet?
I have one too. So 2 questions.
Okay, there's 2 questions. So your favorite sports team, and, well, I guess this is a 2-parter. Favorite sports team and favorite sport.
Hey, that was the question I was going to ask.
Oh,
That's
okay.
crazy.
Then I asked it.
So, great question. So I'm born and raised in Arizona, Arizona native. I was born in 1980. So if you're a true Cardinals fan or a true football fan, the Cardinals didn't come to Arizona until 1987 or 1988.
Yep.
So as a child, I was a Walter Payton fan. So I loved Walter Payton, sweetness, like, man, how could you not like that guy? Just his determination, carrying 6 guys into the end zone, like, you can relate to that in life. And so I was a Bears fan. Mike Ditka, gotta love his personality.
Yeah.
Like me or don't, I don't care. You either like me or you don't. It's all good,
Yeah.
I don't need you to like me. Mike Ditka. So I was a Bears fan up to about 86, 87. And then when the Cardinals came, gotta be a true fan.
That's
Fell in
right.
love with the Cardinals. Jake the Snake from ASU, baby.
I
And then Jake
remember.
the Snake to the Cardinals, baby. Pat Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to one of my heroes, Pat Tillman, baby. But so I was at ASU Stadium when Jake the Snake beat Nebraska, charged the field. I was at so many Cardinals games. You're a true fan when you can go to the old stadium and it's 120 degrees out. When they played at ASU Stadium, it was open. I'm 14 years old, sunburnt on Monday morning at school because I was rooting for the Cardinals. So Cardinals and then Joey football.
Yeah.
Football.
Yeah. That's good
I'm
stuff.
ready for football.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
You get the college ball starting up, and you get the pro starting up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey Jeff, what's your favorite team? And tell us what bandwagon you're jumping on.
There's no bandwagon.
Oh, Jeff, let me guess.
I'm from Missouri, so I love the Chiefs.
Mizzou. He's from the Mizzou Tigers. Is that what it is? Mizzou Tigers? Oh,
I didn't go to Mizzou Tigers, but yes, there's the Missouri Tigers.
You're now
I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm a Chiefs fan.
Oh, man.
I didn't wear my Chiefs hat today. I should have.
No, he's not a bandwagon.
I'm happy for Andy Reid. Honey Badger. The Honey Badger came from Arizona.
Yes, that's right. He did.
So I'm a true Cardinals fan, and when he was here as a Cardinal, I became a fan of him. So good for Honey Badger. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, my wife also grew up here in Arizona, and like you said, they didn't have the Cardinals here at the time. So she either had San Diego, San Francisco, Dallas, or Denver, I guess. And of course, she's still a diehard San Francisco fan. And I came from California, and I was a San Francisco fan, but I lived here longer than California, so I became a Cardinals fan, and till now.
Good for
We're
you.
gonna do good this year.
Good for you. Those Niners, they're a bunch of bandwagon.
I would call my wife that, but she really is a 49ers fan because she loved them even when they sucked. So
there you go. I joke with that because my younger brother, he grew up in the late 80s when the Niners were good. They won from 88 to 98, whatever.
Yep,
so
that's when I lived in California.
Cardinals?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
well, Shawn, thanks so much for being on here, man.
Yes.
Oh, you got one more. Throw one more at me, man. Throw one more question at me.
Oh man, what do we got here? Do you watch UFC at all?
I do. I wrestled in high school, so I have some appreciation for the mixed martial arts. You have to. One, it's a mind game. It's imano. Like that's what. Like if you have kids or you want to teach, like I'm all about teaching kids like the karate and the taekwondo and the wrestling because it strengthens the mind. And
I was asking in case I don't know if you have a favorite fighter or not, but that's one of the sports that's actually they've started that up like a few weeks ago. So it's like every weekend now you've got fights on. So
yeah, then they did it empty, right? Empty Coliseum or something, or empty octagon, whatever. There was no fans or whatever.
Yeah,
that's good, man. Bring it. Let's figure this out and keep it going. Yeah. So when everybody gets back to traveling and all that, do you guys have a family vacation you want to take? We're going to Disneyland. Great question. So we had Disney planned for July, and then obviously the virus broke out and stuff, so we readjusted it. But my daughter's going to be turning 6, and then I think it's a blessing. We want to wait till my son is like 2. just because we know our daughter would experience it, but at 2 years old, he might not remember it. So I think we're going to go to Disneyland next year in 2021. So.
All right, man. Sounds awesome.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a blast, and if I can be a resource, let me know, and then I look forward to the studio.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, we'll reach out to you, make sure we get that one scheduled.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
All right, you guys, you take care. Until next time, agents, we will see you later. Adios.
Adios.